Okay, I'm assuming it's there. Okay, so I'm not going to take a lot of time tonight. We're going to talk about Referral Club a little bit. I'm not going to get too much in the weeds on how to get the stuff set up, like with your web person. If you are that person, we will connect you with someone who can do a better job than I can in explaining all of that. But I wanted to go through a few things as to why we think this is helpful and the kinds of feedback I've gotten from other professionals, both testers and mitigators, as to why they like the Referral Club program and what it can add to your business, and mostly, as far as customer support and value. So let's get moving to the next slide if I can get this. So this is the EcoCube, and you may be familiar with this. I bet most of you are. This has been around for a while. It's a homeowner device, yet it has a detector that's more sensitive than almost every Radon professional monitor out there, with the exception of our own Radon I Pro, and perhaps I think the very top of the line RadStar comes pretty close to the sensitivity, and that's 30 counts per hour per picocurie per liter. And without getting into a boring science explanation of that, that just means that your hourly readings, in addition to your average, are very accurate. So you can have confidence in tracking radon variations over time, which can be really helpful. If you look at the app screen there on your right, you can see for the regular EcoCube, the current radon concentration, which is the hour reading, is displayed at the top in the big font. And then you can go down below and you'll see there is a day, week, month, and year. And you can click on that and get the average for any of those time periods. Right now you can see, perhaps you can see that the week has been selected, and the graph or the trend chart that you're looking at there is giving you the hourly data throughout that week and letting you see how it's moving around. And you can see it moved from about 2 picocuries per liter to as high as about 6, it seems, and it's moving up and down. So why is this important to you as a professional? Since this is a homeowner device, I'll get to in just a second. But the idea here is that homeowners can see what's going on in their home over a long period. This device works on Wi-Fi, so all the data is stored on the cloud, and then you connect to it with Bluetooth with the smartphone app, and you can monitor your radon concentrations in your home from anywhere, as long as you have a connection that you can get on Wi-Fi with your phone. So the EcoCube is probably my favorite device, I think. Great sensitivity, gives you a lot of information, lets you really characterize what's happening from 1 hour to the next, and helps you see perhaps the kinds of things that could be going on in your home that could contribute to when the radon's high or when the radon's low or in between, and make some connections to occupant behavior or how you're operating the building, whether the heat is on, the air conditioning's on or off, whether you're running exhaust fans or not. Those sorts of things can have an impact depending on the building. And then, because we do have clients that and consumers out there who just don't want to be connected to Wi-Fi and use a smartphone with Bluetooth, they want something simpler. So we've got something for them also. This is EcoBlue. It's the only one of our devices that doesn't have that detector that gets 30 counts per hour per picocurie per liter. This one gets 18. And that would be almost as much as, say, a femtotech monitor. It's certainly as good as the, or better than the two lower line rad stars. They're all better than a sun, which gets about 3 counts per hour per picocurie per liter. Again, those are professional devices. The Corinthian Pro gets about 4 counts per hour per picocurie per liter. So again, this gives good hourly data. There's a button on the back that you can't see in the photo, and if you press the button, it will change from the current hour reading to the day reading, to the week reading, to the month reading, and to the year to date. So you just keep pressing the button and it'll indicate what the average is for those time segments. Now, it doesn't store any information. You don't get a trend chart or a graph, but some people just like to be able to look at the display or toggle over and see what it's been for a longer period. They like that convenience and simplicity. So we sell a lot of these through our website as well as on Amazon, just like the regular EcoCube. So I'm talking to a group of professionals. Why would this matter to you? Well, let's think about that for just a second. Let's say you go as you normally would when you perform a test for a real estate transaction. Or maybe it's just a concerned homeowner, but you go do a 2 or 3 day test and you use the best monitor you can find, and you do a very careful 2 day test. But it is limited by the time period that you were able to sample. So if you'll read the recommendations that EPA and then now ANSI ARST require be given to a client as a professional, if the test result is between 2 and 4, they may not recommend mitigation right away like we do if it's 4 or higher, but they do very clearly say consider mitigation. And that's because the health risk is not associated with the 4 picocurie per liter action level. That action level is not based on risk. It's based on what was considered to be achievable with our mitigation technology back around 1991. And so they make that statement to consider mitigation if your concentrations are between 2 and 4, because there is risk reduction if you can lower that concentration. There's benefit. And once people begin to look at the hourly data over time, they may begin to feel uncomfortable about what they're looking at. And even if the longer test period indicates that the average concentration is less than 4 picocuries per liter, they may be inclined to go ahead and have a mitigation performed. I'll give you a great example of that. I got a call sent over from our customer support line, a message to please call this customer back. It was a woman in, I don't know, I think she was in Utah, and she was very upset, according to the notes, and she had a short-term test done. I think it was about 3 days, and there was a trend or a cycle that showed that every evening the radon concentrations would go up to about 8 picocuries per liter in the middle of the night, and then every day midday they would go down to about 2 picocuries per liter, and then it would come back up again at night and then back down during the day. And her average was about 3.8 or 3.9. And she was trying to understand what that meant, and should she mitigate, and so forth. What we appear to have figured out, I was talking to her from a distance. I didn't actually see the house, but from what she described, it looked like it was possible that It was the time of year when she just started to use her heat, and the nights were getting cool, so the heat would cycle on during the night, and then she had it on an economizer during the day, and so it didn't run much during the day. It wasn't that cold, and it also appeared from what I could see on a FaceTime conversation that she may very well have had some leaky return plenum down in the walkout basement of her home that could have been lowering the pressure, the differential pressure in that basement with reference to the soil. So when that air handler kicked on, it was actually sucking air into the leaks in the return, and which was then sucking more air from the soil through the cracks in the slab, around the slab and foundation openings. So every night it would go up and every day it would go down. So she decided not to do any longer term testing and went ahead and mitigated, but or called a mitigator. But it may be a situation where a client just says, well, I want to look at it a little longer. So you could help them with this kind of decision making if you could provide them an inexpensive homeowner device that they could look at the data for a longer period of time and make a decision. And then the other thing is what if your home buyer's test, let's say you're a tester, you're not a mitigator, and your home buyer's test is at or above the action level, so that mitigation is going to be recommended, and that the buyer, your client, is at least has a good chance of being able to get the seller to pay for that mitigation. And then you want to make sure for good business that you're the one that they call to do the post mitigation clearance test. That's an opportunity that you can miss if you don't really assert yourself that, hey, you need to call me back to do that. Otherwise, it may just be handled, by the mitigator. But even if that 2-day test comes back low, there are mitigation systems out there, and if you've been at this for a while, then you know as well as I that may look like they're really performing well in April or September, but in the dead of winter, the differential pressure between the house and the soil becomes great enough that it overwhelms the system because of the stack effect. And perhaps, like I mentioned in the example before, leaky return ducts if it's down low. If it's a slab house with an attic system where you've got ductwork up in the attic, then leaky supply ducts can cause the same thing. So it's just a good idea to test for a longer period of time. Now that in Canada and in Europe, they recommend that you don't make a mitigation decision until you've tested for at least 90 days. And originally, that was the policy here in the United States. Unfortunately, it just didn't motivate very many people to test. You'd bring up radon and the health risk, and it's a class or A or group A carcinogen, demonstrated with great certainty to increase the risk of lung cancer. You say, okay, I want to do something about it. And then you're told, okay, place a test for at least 90 days up to a year. And some of the urgency seemed to just dissipate. And oftentimes people, even with good intentions, never return the long-term device for analysis. They forgot about it and so forth. So EPA back in the very early 90s, working with their science advisory board, came up with a protocol for testing in the context of real estate transactions, figuring that here would be a good opportunity to motivate people to test, particularly if it became a negotiation point between the purchaser and the seller. And so they came up, as you know, with the closed house conditions, and you need at least 48 hours and all the things that are in the standard now. And so we have the benefit of getting more people to test. Their logic was they would rather have Americans do a lot of good tests as opposed to just a handful of very good tests, meaning, for a longer period of time to see what's going on. But we certainly know, and they even knew then, that radon concentrations can vary from, from day to night, from week to week, from month to month, and season to season. And so you do a short-term test, you just may not know. So here's an opportunity for you to provide a way for your clients to purchase a consumer device through you. And you get the benefit of the sale, meaning that you could get their information. I know you perhaps already had it, but you can keep track of who purchased those. And if you're a mitigator, you can certainly follow up with folks later and see how their longer look at it is going. And then you can provide your clients with a price that is our lowest price. So it'll be at least 5% less than our normal price on Amazon or our website. And if we have a sale going on, a special on Amazon, then we'll at least match it. It may be, just $1 less or something, but they get the best price they can get, and you will get a commission. The commission isn't going to make you rich, but I can tell you this. I was at the introductory conference last year, and someone came up to our booth and said, "Oh, I'm ready to buy another Radon Eye Pro. I made enough money on Referral Club over the past 6 or 7 months to purchase another unit," and that's what she did. So the money can build up over time, and you can use it to help your business. If nothing else, it's some nice cash for lunch every day. So let me tell you how it works, and I'll get into it in a little more detail. You have a landing page that we create for you that will have all of our products, including our Pro products. They will be able to click on that page, and you will have a code, and that promo code is unique to you. So even if they come to our website and not buy it through your link you could have on your website, then if they put in that code, we can track who's responsible for the sale, where you get the commission and they get the discount. That said, if you go ahead and put a little message on your website, which I can show you some examples of in just a minute, then that code will automatically be put into the discount code box on that web page that's yours, that we create for you. And so we can track who's responsible for the sale, and they don't even have to, your client doesn't even have to remember. And then obviously you're going to provide some value to your clients because they're going to get the devices at a better price. And we found from talking to a lot of our Referral Club folks that a lot of people who purchase devices this way and get interested in what's going on, looking at the radon in their homes, recommend that their neighbor or their parents or their kids or other family members purchase a device also, and they know how they purchased it, so they'll recommend that they go to your link and buy it. So it's a good opportunity to even pick up some other business. The monthly payouts are paid generally through PayPal. If you just can't do PayPal for some reason, then we can work out another way. The PayPal payments, if you, after the end of the month, they're tallied up, you're not going to get it immediately the next month. The payments will go out the beginning of that following month. So, but once they start rolling, you'll be getting payments every month on PayPal. They'll just go to your account. There's nothing to do. And then inventory, the good thing here is everything gets drop shipped to the client, so you don't have to worry about purchasing things and then you know, selling them off your truck or out of your you know, your business car. You can just have them drop shipped directly to the client. It's good for raising awareness, which can build more business. The dashboard looks something like this. You will have, for example, Radon excuse me, not a Radon an EcoQ Pro sells for regular price about $156.69 is typically what we sell it for on our website or on Amazon. If you were able to move 10 of them during the month, then even with a beginning 10% commission, then you picked up $156. And you know, if you start doing really well at these, then you can call us and we can creep up your commission a little bit. So there's some incentive there, and you can keep track. You can go in and see everyone who purchased and their contact information, and so forth. So let me mention about mitigators while I'm remembering it so I don't forget. I've heard from a number of mitigators that who also do testing, and I know a couple of you have mentioned you do both. That if they get a call from a client to do a test and they determine that the client is not like close by, so they're going to have to drive, you know, some distance or spend a lot of time in traffic to go get there. They may just figure that with everything else they've got going on, it's not worth what they typically charge for a radon test in that circumstance. So if it's not a real estate transaction, I hear a lot of mitigators say, look, I could come out and do a test and, you know, it's going to cost you a couple $100 and it's going to be a 2 or 3 day test. But I have to charge that because I have to come and place it and then come and pick it up and so forth. Or you can go to my website and you can purchase an EcoCube or a Eco Blue, and you can test for a longer period, which is to your benefit, where you can really see what's going on. And then call me if you think you've got a problem or a concern, or you feel uncomfortable. You also have their information where you can follow up with those folks. And I am hearing that mitigators are doing very well because with that kind of call for mitigation, because it wasn't like you went out and did the test yourself. They did their own test with their EcoCube, for example. And so they feel a lot more comfortable calling you because you were very honest that, hey, go test for a longer period. It'll be good for you to see what's going on. And then they call you and you know, what little you lost in by not driving out and coming back, you know, you still made a little commission, and now you got a mitigation job. So this is one of our customers. If you know Merritt Gant, he's a mitigator and he does testing. He's in South Carolina. His company is called True Air Technologies, and we helped him create a little banner like this for his website. You know, it just shows up on his page, and if you click, you know, it says there that he partners with Ecosense to give special pricing to his customers, and shop Ecosense, and that's the link that will take them to the store page that we create for you. And then here's another example that you could put on your website. If you look sort of on the left side, special price for your new continuous radon monitor, shop Ecosense. You can put the code there just in case, you know, they want to try it out, and they can actually type in the code, or if they click shop Ecosense, then and it takes them to your site, then it will go ahead and put the code in the store when they get there. So I'm going to click on this, and hopefully you will be able to see my screen. Whoop. Try that again. All right, so if you look, well, let me ask before I just assume, is anybody not seeing the website that says Referral Club Member Resources? If you're not seeing that, if you could raise your hand where I don't just keep talking and you're not looking at. Uh-oh. So you're not seeing it. Okay, we will solve that. Thank you. That's why I learned to ask. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to share again. Share screen. All right. So I'm assuming you can see it now. Ben, if you can you raise your hand if you can see it? Yep. Okay, good. All right. That's just wanted to double check. So this is on our website. So if you go to our website and you go to Referral Club and you'll get into you know, about Referral Club, and there's a link there for Referral Club member resources. And if you just have some issues at some point about, you know, how to set things up, you're unclear, then you can click that button, talk to an expert, and we've got somebody who can help you at our help center. But when you first click on Referral Club, if you're not a member already, you'll need to fill out a little form and send it in, and then we'll get right back to you with an email, and you can click on that and get started. So basically what they're saying is step one, apply for the membership, which doesn't cost you anything. You just fill out a little form, and then you're going to get a link back, and it's going to ask for a little more information. Primarily, we're just wanting to make sure that you're a professional and you have a website and that sort of thing. We actually do have some consumers who are Referral Club members and some influencers that are Referral Club members. They don't get the same commission necessarily unless they show they're a real savvy influencer. And well, we have one that started using her, I don't know much about all that, but Instagram and TikTok and whatever else she does. And she was moving a lot of our monitors. I don't know how, but she was. We could see it on the payouts. And as soon as she started, we motivated her to keep going by raising up her commission. So we reward success. She was, it still is, and we've got a few more that have done that as well. And then you're going to sign into your Referral Club dashboard, and that's where, you know, it'll say hello, whatever your name is, and you'll start obviously with 00. And then when people go in and click on your link that you'll set up on your website, or you just give them your discount code, then you'll get credit. We've got an inspector in Maryland who puts her business cards have the Referral Club information on the back of the business card with the code. And she also, I think, created some little 5x7 cards. And she moves a lot of our units with their home inspection clients by doing that and putting them in print. And then she also tries to direct them back to her website, but she decided that it was best to cover all her bases and you know, keep putting it out there any way she can, because she's actually selling quite a few of them. And then you can look here. There's a demo on how to you know, how to get to the dashboard and how to track your sales and commissions. And so then there's this add your referral link to your website. So you can put in special pricing and a product description. You can put an image in of our product, and you can add your referral link in and your promo code and all of that. We've got some artwork. For example, here's one you can see here that's a special layout. This is a horizontal layout. We've got instructions here on how to set that up. If you've got a web person that does that kind of stuff for you, then they'll figure it out real fast. If you're doing it yourself, then if you run into a snag, Ksenia or one of our staff can help you with it. Here's the one you see that I just showed you. This is their regular, part of their website up here, and then you can see the particular box that they created. So there's a whole section here on these resources on how to add the referral link to your website, and then there's a video. They call this the Wix video, which doesn't mean much to me other than that's got all the information on how you integrate this into your website. So your website person or you, if you're familiar with all this, will know what to do after you watch that. So I know all of you are busy, and you're probably running all day long and doing things in the evening as well. But if you can take the time to set this up, it's a nice add to your web page, and it really does give you a place to refer people back, stay in touch with them, hopefully pick up some customers with their family and friends and so forth. So all of the instructions are right here. You can also use social media if you're good at that sort of thing. You can create a little video and talk about it, for Instagram, and go here to get one of them, check out the devices, so forth. If you've ever watched any of Jesse Green's many videos, he's got a lot of them on YouTube with American Radon. He's in Minnesota, and he's got one there on how to use Ecocube Radon monitor, and so you could link to him if he's not a competitor in your area. And then you can send emails out to your clients, newsletter, that kind of thing. And by the way, put in the little special price for your for a CRM. And then we've got little flyers that you can put out in person. And something we're doing also is trying to work into the page for your recommendations, that we also say not only retest every 2 years if you've got a mitigation system, or every 5 years if you don't. We have continuously monitor, which is a better option. And so they can start thinking about it, and you can refer them. So if you have questions, you can go here and click and talk to an expert. Give me a call. I don't know if I'm going to help you with any of the stuff as far as the website goes, that sort of thing, but I can put you over to someone who can, and we'll be glad to help you get set up. Now, let me see if I switch here. Business solutions. Okay, if I switch here, can you see where it says Ecocube Pro? Did it follow me to that? Yes, okay. All right. If you have not heard anything about our Ecocube Pro, then it's what's referred to as a blind continuous monitor. Ecosense is an approved lab for it. We lease these, and it includes calibration replacement automatically, where we will send you replacement units when they're due for calibration, and you'll just put the ones that are due back in the same box in the back, just so you don't do without. These are for short-term tests. They will run from 48 to 96 hours. They're using the same hardware as the regular EcoCube, but it's got different firmware and different software, so you can do a complete report that meets the NCR standards. It has a dashboard. It also will enable you to do large projects. So on the dashboard, you can select projects, like if you want to do a school or an apartment building, and you need a lot of these. We made them very affordable for those large projects, where they're very competitive with charcoal. That's our intent, is to begin really eating into the charcoal business for testing schools and apartments. So if you get a project like that, please let us know. We can give you a quote for a large quantity, and even if it's just for a short period of time. If you look down here, you can see that most of the time they would mount to an interior wall with a command strip, and you start and stop them with your smartphone. And again, the dashboard will enable you to finish out a report after we review the data and post it. You can select a 48-hour, a 72-hour, a 96-hour deployment period, and it will run until that point, and then it will stop automatically and wait for you to retrieve it. If you set it for 96 hours and get there at 48, you can stop it with your phone app, so you're not locked in. And the software will let you pull in photos and documents. Again, if you are in one of those states that has activity reports that have to be sent in on all your test data, then we'll provide that. And you can work under our QAP, our quality assurance plan. And so we're really starting to move a lot of these. And so I invite you to take a look at it. If that's, you can see here for large projects, we've got a 45 unit case. And for a regular rental, we can give you a quote on those. If you've got a project, we'll give you a project quote. So you just really need to let us know, how many buildings you have to do and how many test locations. The good thing about these, as opposed to charcoal, is you don't have to do blanks and spikes. Instead of placing a single charcoal test and then having to go back and do a follow-up test if it goes back high, and you can make a decision on a single deployment since it's a continuous monitor. So that saves your client money if you're doing large-scale testing. And then as mitigators know, if you've been involved in that sort of situation where you're asked to mitigate a school or an apartment, they did 2 tests on the schoolroom or the apartment, both of them charcoal, both of them an integrated average, and they call you and say, okay, this apartment or this schoolroom appears to have a radon problem. And what's the first thing you're going to have to do is get some continuous monitor data where you can see how how it's affected by, say, the air handler and the time of day and that sort of thing. The good news with these is you've got all that from the very first test, so it's very good for the client. And then last thing, by the way, if you'd like a demo on this, how it works, then if you'll send me an email, I'll be glad to set up a Google Meet and we can go over how all this works. And then finally, so I know we're about to run out of time. If you go back to Business Solutions and go to EcoGuard. So since a couple of you are mitigators, I think you'll find this an interesting option for your service. So instead of just doing we guarantee it for 5 years because the mitigator or the fan manufacturer, warranties the fans for 5 years or whatever, you can put together a nice service and warranty and monitoring package, charge your clients for it. You can mount these in a fixed location as part of the system. We'll provide a label, or you can print your own with your own information on them. This is a component of a radon mitigation system. Do not move or unplug. Mount it where it needs to be, and it will stay there as a permanent monitor for the mitigation system. Now, here's where it really gets cool, I think, is let's say you install one of these when you put the mitigation system in, and you know, the system needs to run for 24 hours, obviously, before you do the test. Instead of you having to go back or delay a device for 24 hours and then have to go back and pick it up or call somebody else, you can put one of these in at the time of installation, you know, wait your 24 hours, wait another 48, and then you can go on the dashboard, because these will be assigned to you as the mitigator. You will have the data for every one of these units you put out on all your jobs on a dashboard. You can order a 48-hour post-mitigation clearance test that will meet the ANCR standards. It'll have all the information, because you're going to put it in when you set it up. And you can download that report and send it to your client, and you don't have to go back and pick it up. And then it will continue there to sample as an alert. It will, for example, if you, every month, it will create, or we will create a 30-day summary report with the hourly data on how the mitigation system is performing, and we'll send it to your client for you, because you would have put in, you know, their email information. That'll go out every month. It will also, you can set it up where at the top of the app, if you want to share the app, then on the EcoGuard unit, instead of it showing the hourly concentration at the top in the big font, you can set it to show the 48-hour average. And then down at the bottom, they can still click on the hour, the day, the month, and the year. But that way they're looking at the 48-hour average. If you want to share the app, you don't have to share the app. There are some of our clients who've got quite, you know, these out that choose not to share the app, and then we've got other mitigators who feel quite comfortable sharing the app. But if you have a 48-hour period where the average hits or exceeds 4 picocuries per liter, you can set that up where it will send a push notification to you, the mitigator, and an email letting you know, hey, this system, something's going on. You need to call your client. Is the fan off for some reason? You know, what's going on? And then obviously, if you have a 30-day report where it's at or above 4, then that's probably worthy of a service call. But it's a good way to provide peace of mind to your clients. I've just been impressed by the number of our customers who've started to push these, you know, to their clients, at how they come back and tell me, wow, it was a much easier sell than I thought. These you don't lease, these you purchase. If you buy them in onesie twosies, they're $129 each. And once you activate it and put it online, you will pay a $3.99 subscription fee for the data to come into your dashboard. Now, if you take it offline, or let's say you order a quantity of them and they're sitting on your truck before you install them, then you're not paying the activation fee until they're installed and activated. The other thing is, if there's a great way, which I could explain later in a demo, where if they should go offline and don't just come right back on, which they normally would, then you know, somebody changes their email address, or maybe you have a seller who moves out and now the buyers come in, you can send them a QR code. It will enable them to reset the Wi-Fi to your account without getting into your dashboard, so they won't see all your business, but they can put it back online and you can see it's active. If anything goes offline on your dashboard, you can see that you know, you need to give them a call and find out what's going on. You can click on all the units. We have a mitigator in Tennessee that has well over 100 of these out. We have a mitigator in New Jersey that crossed the 100 mark about a week ago, and he's only been putting these out since March. So he's really got a great customer base already. And he's growing his monitoring business and making that part of his service plan. How do they charge for it? That's up to you. Some people are including the unit price into their as part of their mitigation package, and then they charge an annual fee that more than covers the subscription fee and profit. Others are doing it, sending out a monthly thing if they've got the little app that lets you do a monthly payment. It's up to you how you want to market it. Some people have a regular warranty and a gold package. One of our guys who's done really well with this just seems to make it part of everything he does, and has been successful with that also. So however you want to set up your business, it's up to you. Then finally, since these are monitoring the mitigation, these are approved devices, by the way. Since they're monitoring the mitigation system after that first 48-hour clearance test, which will be an approved test. Let's say you get into month 13 and 14 and it hasn't been calibrated, then we're not providing results to make a mitigation decision on. We're using it as a way to monitor the performance of the mitigation system. So that standard, as you all know, says that you should recommend a retest every 2 years. And so you could make it part of your plan that at the 2-year mark, you make a service call and you can swap these out with a new one that's just been calibrated. So you can get another 48-hour test and give them that's right within standard with a freshly calibrated unit. And you can send the one, maybe if you've got quite a few of these out there, you can send a box of them back to us. We'll give you a credit and recalibrate them and recycle them. I don't know what the credit's going to be yet because we're still working out some of that, but we're in the midst of getting our US calibration chamber up and running even as we speak. So we'll be calibrating these and trying to make everything as affordable as possible for all of you. So again, if you'd like to see how all this works, let me know, and I'll set you up with a demo on Google Meet. So let me get over here to see if I can see some questions. So scrolling up. Let's see. Does the Referral Club work for Europe? My company operates in Portugal and Spain. Wow. Bruno, that's a great question. And I know the intention is there, that we've had discussions on that. If you will send me an email, I'll remember anyway because I have a record of this, but if you'd send me an email, that would be great. My email is djones, DJONES @ecosense.io. I will follow up with you. And if we don't have that, then I'll find out, just what we need to do to get that going, because I know there is an intention to have that available in Europe. And by the way, my wife is originally from Brazil, so I love to go to Portugal. It's a great place. And then I had a question about the Radon Eye Pro. Does it come calibrated, or do I need to send it out to the lab? Okay, Jim, that's a question that is interesting just for this reason, because you said you took the NRSV test. So if you had taken the NRPP, and I know it probably didn't seem to make any difference at the time you chose the exam, then they accept our calibration certificate from original calibration certificate from our chamber in South Korea, and they're quite happy with it. Now, both organizations, NRPP and NRSB, require that you do a device performance test before you can get your initial certification. The difference between that and a calibration, this calibration, they actually can go in and change the calibration factor in the unit, to make sure it's as close to the reference source as possible. A device performance test is is where they will expose it in the chamber and send it back to you, and you have to report what the average concentration was to them, and then they compare it, and you have to be within a plus or minus that's acceptable. So it's a little different. You will have to do the device performance tests for both organizations. What I can't tell you for sure is whether NRSB is going to accept that calibration certificate that comes with the unit. That's a question you may need to find out. They've had turnover over at NRSB, and I can't say for sure whether they will or not. If you send it off for your device performance test, they can calibrate it as long as you make it clear you want calibration and a device performance test. Then they will do both. I know they charge you extra for it, but since you're already kind of down that road, it may be simpler than to go back and take the NRPP exam, since you've already taken the NRSB and passed it. And I wish I could give you better news, but perhaps they'll take it. I would double check with whoever they have running the phones over there. Let's see. Radon does it, yeah. Are there any other questions? Did I get everybody's question? If you have a question, raise your hand. Okay. I think there are no hands up right now, unless I don't see any. Tell you what, before we go. I think I've unmuted most of you. If you have a question, those of you who are still here, then go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, so you know where I am, djones@ecosense.io. Send me an email if I can help you in any way. Oh, wait a minute. I see you to chat.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
Hey, there we go. Can we also still purchase them as a company to sell them out of our vehicle? We have some customers that aren't computer savvy, and sometimes would just rather us add that to their bill and have one on site for them. Is that an option still?
No, let me make sure I'm following you. You're talking about for a pro device?
No, for a homeowner device. If we purchased like a couple of the cubes and just kept them with us on our trucks, and if we speak to them
you can
beforehand.
do that too. Now let me go back to that, because I probably didn't make. Thanks for asking that question. So if you order a quantity of cubes, then I can give you a discount or Eco Blues. For example, we have one mitigator who wanted to keep some on his truck, and the boxes are 20 units, whether it's Eco Cube or Eco Blue, and he just orders them 20 at a time, and he gets a good discount. The other thing I forgot to tell you about Eco Guard, if you're interested in that, I mentioned they're 129 each in onesie twosies. If you get 20, they come down to 122. If you get 50, they come down to 115. So some of our users are now going ahead and buying them at least at 20, if not at 50, and then they don't pay any data fees until they put them online. But if you want to have one in your hand for the homeowner devices, then yeah, you can order them and do them that way. You can order the good thing about having Referral Club is you can go in and order off the Referral Club site. So you'll get the best price, and yeah, you'll have to wait for the commission to come in, but you can get the commission on anything you buy come back to you. So you may want to keep that in mind also. Does that make sense?
I was curious about that. Thank you.
Yeah, and even if, let's say you wanted to order a pro device, they're on that page also. So, you can kind of look and see what we're running at the time. If we've got a good deal, then take it. If not, you can go order it off the Referral Club, and you'll get 5% off our regular price, and then you'll get your commission. You'll have to wait for it, but it'll be there. So you'll get that back, so you can get a good deal that way. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate you joining me. I know I've kept you almost an hour, so thanks for hanging in there with me. And if I can be of service to you in any way, you know where I am. Hope to talk to you all soon.